Hello, everybody. I'm Kyle.
Yes, I am Ben. That is correct.
Hello. So, who here has been to a Skeptics in the Pub event already? Yes.
Ooh, all right.
Get the home crowd advantage for this.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you guys may have seen one or two of these, depending on how many you've been to. But we are going to basically do a Skeptics primer for the rest of the audience, a Skeptics 101 for those of you who are new or have not been to a Skeptics in the Pub or haven't heard the word skeptic.
Sure. So if you've never been to one before or unfamiliar, Skeptics in the Pub is about drinking and critical thinking.
Getting drunk and debunking.
That's right. It took us almost 3 years to think of those two rhymes.
That was recent developments.
Yeah.
We keep getting better.
So of course we look at sort of dubious claims of the paranormal, pseudoscience, just sort of bad science in general. And
yeah, just bad science.
Yeah, and the idea is to investigate those claims and have discussions about them, all while having a nice pint or two, maybe three.
Yes, with your new best friends.
Sure.
We've done nearly 30 events over the last 3 years to include at Hibernia and then Cregan's, and outgrew both of those. Now we're at the Joint in North Little Rock, right next to Cregan's, Monday once a month.
Mm-hmm.
And we also do events with the Science Museum, Children's Discovery Museum, which has a Science After Dark series for those of you who haven't gone.
Fantastic
It's
event.
adults only from 6 to 8 p.m., cash bar, and you get to explore the interactive Children's Museum. And this Wednesday, it's the Science of Fear for Halloween. So that's coming up.
Naturally. And of course, Skeptics in the Pub was started in England so several years ago, many years
ago.
And of course it's now all over the world. So there's a Skeptics in the Pub in Tokyo and Melbourne and all over the place. And of course Little Rock has one. I think there's more than one in Arkansas, actually. I think maybe Northwest has
also
one.
goes by Drinking Skeptically. So whatever town you're from, if you haven't started one, please start one. It's a great time. But it's also excellent because we talked about a lot of creationism, which is a form of science denialism, also climate change and climate denialism. These are anti-science movements, and we've been very critical of them over the weekend. But we're here to make you a little uncomfortable because we're going to talk about all the other claims we're not so critical about in our own lives, and some things that maybe you haven't given the thought that they're due.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're human beings. Everybody, it's kind of natural to fall into maybe a certain dubious claim, and then you hear it and sort of take it for fact, and maybe there's no factual basis at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt Dillahunty talked a lot about the arguments that we just take for granted. We hear it. A logical reason given to us by our parents or by the news or natural news, and you just go with it. So we're here to kind of inform you about all those other claims and why you should pay attention. All right, so a little bit of a bigger crowd than we're used to. We thought we might take a little something to help get us through it.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's not the beer, actually. Yeah, no, this is just regular.
How many of you do your shopping at Walmart?
Like for medicine?
Maybe medicine included. A little cough syrup, little this and that, little Walmart shoppers.
Okay, it's a good number.
How many of you prefer Whole Foods for your medical needs? Some Whole Foods shoppers?
That too.
Don't get smug, Walmarter. We got your number.
Yeah, by the way, don't get smug, Walmart. Yeah, Walmarter. That's a phrase you're not going to hear very much.
But so we got picked up a little something that we thought we would demonstrate for you guys. What do you have there, Ben?
So I have coffee cruda. This is pills for sleeplessness with mental hyperactivity.
That's exactly what you need after 3 days of a conference like this.
Sure. And how about yourself, Kyle?
I'm a little hungover. Sorry, folks. This is for irritable bowel syndrome. Actually, I'm kidding. It's Cafe Cruda also. This is for, like you said, sleeping pills.
Yeah,
essentially. No joke about it. And on many of the cases says sleeping aids, sleeping pills. In here are about 70 single pills. The recommended dosage is 3. 5 pellets 3 times a day until symptoms are relieved.
Yeah.
Also, not for pregnant women, by the way.
Nope. But what we're going to do is instead of taking the recommended dosage, we're going to go ahead and just take them all right now, which is maybe ill-advised. Do not do this at home, by the way. That's a terrible idea.
I am not pregnant. Don't be alarmed, though. We're going to explain.
Me neither.
These are really good. I want you to know. Halloween comes around. You just hand these out.
Yeah.
These are delicious.
It was a good time.
Not unlike Pez, if you want to. Not unlike Pez.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so some people were a little bit alarmed.
I'll wash these pills down with some beer.
That's a good idea. They're kind of stuck in my... Why is that not a crazy idea? I'll let him...
Yeah, so obviously we just took a whole vial of pills, which is generally a terrible idea, especially sleeping pills. That can kill you. But obviously we think that there's something about these pills that makes what we just did completely safe, right?
Yeah, go to the next slide so they can...
Oh.
Well, I guess you can go a couple slides ahead.
Oop.
That's us at the Science Museum.
Yeah. Don't ask
Those
what we're about to do.
dinosaurs
To
are
that.
awesome, but
Yeah.
it's after hours. Don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Next one.
All right.
Okay, so this is what we just took with the label on it so you can see it. Why is that not a suicidal thing to do?
Yeah, and the reason is this is homeopathic medication. How many people are familiar with homeopathic? Have heard it?
Who has not heard homeopathic?
Has anyone never heard of it?
Or takes it,
I feel
or
like it's
enjoys
everywhere
it?
now. So
okay, no one wants to admit it now that we just...
So the idea, of course, of homeopathic medicine is that you take a some sort of agent, and then the idea is that whatever your problem is, you take the thing that elicits that...
The thing that causes that illness.
Causes it. So in this case, this is supposed to be...
It's a derivative of coffee.
To have caffeine, yeah. But then you dilute it down to an infinitesimal amount, and what you really end up doing, with homeopathy, is you dilute it so far down, it is not really going to have an actual effect. There's not enough to do an actual dose of anything. So
for those of you who are good at chemistry, you dilute it to a point where there is no original active ingredient left. All right. And so what I want to ask you guys is it possible that a company might successfully bring sugar pills to market? And legally. Is it possible or conceivable that that could have happened? Yeah. Maybe it was 1938 and your American Senator Copeland, who owns a homeopathic company and sneaks it into the Federal Drug Act and gets homeopathy recognized as a drug with exceptions. And the exceptions are that it's not really subjected to the same level of scrutiny as other drugs. You don't have to approve new drugs under homeopathy. And maybe for 70 years, people take it.
Yeah. And so these pills are sold for sleeplessness, but in fact, they're just sugar pills. That's all it is. They're like sprinkles.
That's all it is.
Put it on your ice cream.
It's actually exactly like sprinkles.
They are sprinkles. They're very expensive sprinkles.
That little demo cost me $16 for those two. Not only is it a scam, it is an expensive scam. It costs, on average, 50% to 150% more than real medication for the same thing. Okay, so it's not only are they getting you, but they're really getting you.
So this is one thing, about the skeptics movement in general. One of the parts that we look at a lot is people using pseudoscience to scam people. And in this case, this is basically a scam.
Okay, so those of you who have used homeopathic pills, I hope that you would be a little bit upset upon now finding out that those are sugar pills.
Sure, well, this is sleeplessness. But what if someone told you that they could give you a medicine that would cure your cancer or treat cancer, and it's just sugar pills?
And if you think that that's not happening, it's absolutely happening. Yeah. And that's for any illness, and as serious as it is for people who just haven't heard the word homeopathy, which is printed in tiny red font on the bottom of the package. Yeah, it's upsetting, and I think everybody here should be upset. I saw someone get shanked in Starbucks this morning for accidentally getting decaf. Okay, that's kind of what we're talking about, but multiplied by a lot. Okay, and that's essentially it. It's the placebo effect, and yes, it's a real effect. It's better than nothing, but it still can be. You can get that effect when there is no active ingredient. The act of drinking a decaf coffee and it tastes good and you feel a little bit better about yourself does not mean that decaf coffee is caffeinated coffee. And I'll be happy to debate that with all of you afterwards, and we get into it every so often. But yes, selling placebos, we feel, and you should all feel, is unethical. It would be unethical for you to give this to someone if you were a doctor or to recommend it to your friend. You're not helping them out.
Sure, and people make the what's the harm argument quite a bit, and it's, I suppose it's the what's the harm is low when the stakes are low for something like maybe mild sleeplessness or mental hyperactivity, but then the stakes get a lot higher with serious diseases, like as the diseases get more serious, and it's anything you can name is being marketed to with treatments like homeopathy.
And to make the last point on homeopathy, you would think that, well, diluted down, maybe there's some science to it or whatever, but to illustrate the point, you could take arsenic, dilute it to a dilution. It doesn't show the C on there, but they have a C on the pill that denotes a level of dilution that they're giving it to. So 30C, I think, is 3,000 times dilution. You could dilute arsenic to that amount and take it and be fine. And I know this because they sell arsenicum, which is diluted arsenic. Okay,
yes, you can buy that at Whole Foods.
All right. Yeah. By the way, moving on. Yeah. So if you want to
yes.
advance that there, a little bit of history of the skeptics movement, just so a point of reference. This goes way back. People, citizen activists, trying to knock down the pseudoscience of the day as they go through. My lovely wife just reminded me of a whole bit that I planned that I totally just skipped. Ben, what is your expertise?
Oh, yeah. So Skeptics in the Pub combines science and drinking.
And which half of that are you?
I'm the drinking side. Yes.
That's right.
So I am in the booze business. I take it surprisingly seriously. I have 3 different professional certifications in booze. So yes, that is.
No, please go on. It's going to be great. Okay, so out of anyone in this room, who do you think would probably be most qualified to talk about alcohol? Probably Ben. Ben, what kind of beer was that you were just drinking?
That was Stella Artois.
Was it?
I don't know. It did. Well, no, I don't know. That's what I heard.
She did hand me a beer.
Oh, okay.
And said that mine was Stella Artois.
Okay.
You want to take a guess at what kind of beer you're drinking?
God, it tasted kind of like Miller Lite or Bud Light.
Really?
Something like that, yeah.
Would you be surprised if a Skeptics in the Pub co-host switched your beer with non-alcoholic O'Doul's and you did not know this is the difference in front of a live crowd?
Whoa.
How do you all think Ben feels right now? Not realizing that he might have been duped.
Not drunk. That's how I feel.
Do you think Ben feels a little betrayed that I did this to him? And I'm really hoping Abby didn't give me the non-alcoholic beer by mistake, because that'd be pretty funny. But it was homeopathic beer that he took to wash down homeopathic sleeping pills, which, not to make light of suicide, but was the worst suicide attempt ever.
All right.
I thought I would pay. We'll get him a real beer. A round of applause for Ben for being a good sport.
Right.
I almost totally skipped that because I've been drinking my own real beer. But all right, we'll move on. So homeopathy aside, it's very easy to be taken advantage of. We can advance for some reason. We'll advance it back. Sorry. The skeptics movement, in a lot of ways, owes its beginning to the great Harry Houdini, famous escape artist and magician. Well, his mother died, and in the aftermath of that, he really took offense at mediums and psychics who were communing with the dead. And he took offense at that because they were using his simple stage tricks, not his, but simple stage tricks that he recognized, simple techniques to specifically manipulate and take advantage of people who were in a compromised position. And I think everybody here is equally upset by guys like John Edwards who still do this today. But Houdini was the first one, maybe not the first, but the most popular one to go around and debunk them intentionally. He would go in disguise. And at the time, they were very famous for events that would show an actual contact had been made, as in the table would float or rap on the door if you answer us, or they would levitate objects like musical instruments, trumpets for some reason, but other things in the room, and Harry Houdini would figure out how they did it, sometimes as simple as just lifting the table with their foot. He originally had a $10,000 prize for anyone who could prove that they were a medium or a psychic, and it was never claimed. He also had a pact with his wife that when he died, they knew a secret password, whoever died first. They had a secret password, and he would, if it was possible, relay that password through a medium. And they held annual seance every year with his wife until after 10 years had passed. She said that was long enough to wait for any man, and that she did not think that this was possible. Okay, but that's a little bit of the origin of it, but other notable skeptics.
Yeah, so another great sort of proto-skeptic was Samuel Clemens, a.k.a. Mark Twain, who most famously debunked the pseudoscience of phrenology. Phrenology, if you're not familiar, is reading the bumps on people's heads to tell their personality.
By the way, great way to get to know people.
It is a great way. We actually did it at one of our skeptics in the pub, and it was fun. It's a lot of fun. Actually, one of my favorite things about phrenology, unlike other pseudoscience personality things, phrenology will get real negative.
Yeah, none of those things on your head are positive at all.
I mean, there's some, yeah.
It's if you have any kind of a bump, it's pretty fantastic.
That makes it kind of fun. But yeah, so
plus lots of awkward scalp touching.
Oh, all the awkward scalp touching you could ever want. So Mark Twain went to the most famous phrenologist in London and went in disguise, and they sort of famously gave him a reading saying that there was a recess in his head, and this indicated a severe lack of a sense of humor.
The great American humorist.
Sure.
Yes.
And then he went back the next day, sans disguise, and they, of course, gave him the opposite reading, and then he wrote about it, published it, and this almost single-handedly took down phrenology. Interestingly, what he was basically doing was a single-blind test, even though back then there was the term did not exist. But then, so he basically took down phrenology, and then the family who owned this particular phrenology clinic, we'll say, vowed a vendetta to kill Mark Twain for doing this to them. Which
they were Italian.
Yeah, they were Italian.
Not that that's but vendettas.
It's the home of vendettas.
But yeah, phrenology had gotten real ugly too. They had whole devices they would strap you in, and anyways, it was getting pretty extreme.
So that was Mark Twain's probably biggest contribution to skepticism.
And so the theme here is that there is science, and there are things that just try to sound science-y. And that's pseudoscience, and that's what we're talking about. The difference between being sound, evidence-driven, based in reason, and all the great things we talked about, and then just sounding as if it might also be, then they use the vocabulary. It's an intentional camouflage, and that's why it can be tough to spot.
Maybe throwing out the word quantum.
Look, at the time, phrenology was like cutting-edge stuff. It sounded exactly the same as the other science at the time, and homeopathy too. When it came out, it was killing fewer people than the real medicine because they were still bloodletting and etc. So
that's a real low bar to clear.
Yes, well,
kills fewer people than bloodletting.
Didn't work out so well for George Washington. But anyways, we got the amazing Randy. Really took on the legacy of Houdini, and in a lot of ways set out to match and exceed his achievements in escape, but also in debunking. And he also, the James Randi Foundation today built on the original $10,000 challenge Houdini had to $20,000. Now it's $1 million challenge for anyone who can prove that you have a supernatural ability. The JRF does amazing work still, and they host the Vegas convention each year, which is one of the biggest. But
yeah, the amazing meeting I hear is fantastic.
He's still kicking it. He's an old guy, but he's so sprightly and so energetic, and he will pull a magic trick on you so fast, which is so popular among this crowd. And I think that there's such a magic in a big way really forms the heart of skepticism.
Yeah, well, and I think yeah, it's not a coincidence that Houdini was, I think, one of the original skeptics, and James Randi is to me is the kind of the founder of modern skepticism as a movement. And I think it's because magicians are very good at seeing tricks. They know that there is a trick behind. They're very good at seeing something and knowing that there's a trick behind it.
That's fine.
And then when you combine that with having a conscience, you get maybe a lot of mad, well,
yeah,
very angry at people.
And one of the points that we'll make here in a second is that even if you are a scientist, even if you're a rational person, that does not mean you're good at spotting deception. You know, I just watched Up Close Magic with Matt Dillahunty for 2 straight nights, and I don't know what he was doing, but man, he was blowing my mind. It's ridiculous. But the fact that you may be extremely intelligent has no bearing on how gullible you are when someone is intentionally trying to manipulate you. And that's what we want to make you think about. What might you not have recognized?
Like when someone hands someone a beer and says, hey, enjoy this real beer.
Someone you trust. Oh,
yeah.
Man, that must be awful.
It's not fun. It's better now.
Let's do the next slide there. All right, and then lastly, the modern day.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I think probably basically everyone knows these faces. We have Penn and Teller, and then Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman from the Mythbusters. I feel like these guys are doing so much. Which, by the way, all people that you will see at skeptic conventions like the Amazing Meeting or Skepticon, these people are doing, to me, kind of like somewhat cleverly disguised skepticism, but of course they kind of have the same theme, which is getting to the bottom of dubious claims and in one show's case, then blowing them up spectacularly. But yeah, these are some of the most, I think probably the most famous people in the skeptic community.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. But that's the face of it, and maybe you've seen it and did not know the skeptics was a word, but you know, that's what we're trying to do. So for our next demonstration, we're going to need some more audience participation. So we're going to ask for a volunteer.
Yeah. Now
we're going to ask from somebody.
Kyle is about to use his psychic powers.
I think somebody over here. I think it should be someone, maybe I'm getting like an M, maybe like a Mandy or a Mary. No, it's definitely a Y. It's a Billy, a Bobby. Someone, they're from Arkansas.
Someone from Arkansas.
Not a big ice hockey fan.
Does not like ice hockey.
Just really anybody over somebody. Hey, Lisa, I was so close on that one.
Very close. I mean, pretty much dead on.
Thanks for joining us, Lisa. So we're going to do...
Let's give Lisa a round of applause.
Round of applause for
being
Lisa.
A good,
okay.
Good sport.
I have a gift. All right, so we're going to do a little demonstration. Yeah. I'm really disappointed first in all of you that nobody gave me grief about this for the 2 days I was wearing it at this convention. For those of you who don't know, the power balance, power bands, performance enhancing, we're going to demonstrate it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I just wrote quick show of hands. How many people have heard of the power balance, power band? A lot. That looks like about 2/3. So, excuse me, if you're not familiar, the idea of the power band is that you put it on, and then this increases balance and strength merely by wearing it instantly.
Yes, and because there's a 3-foot radius,
and
I'm going to set this down over here.
Within 3 feet of it.
Yes. Okay. We're going to ask you to do some simple tests of strength and balance for everybody. It's not going to be that awkward. Is it okay if I touch your elbow? Okay. All right.
We have elbow permission.
All right. So we're going to ask you to stand on one leg and hold your arms straight out. By the way,
this is a test of balance.
Both arms for
both arms. So both arms out. It's very important that you keep your arms as level as possible.
And the goal is just to keep your arms level. And I'm going to push down gently, okay? And this is the exact test that they do at the mall at the end of marathons.
Yeah, you'll see this all over the place. You may want to go ahead and start.
I haven't even started yet. Okay, you ready? You ready? I'm just going to push down. Just hold it. Hold it. That's excellent technique. All right. Want to keep your arms straight and level. Here we go. Just come on. You got it. Okay, here we go. One more time. I'm going to push down. She's like really awesome with the legs out thing. All right, cool. Let's try it again. If you'd like to place that around your wrist there. Who has had this done on them? Anybody so far? Okay, not really. Wow, okay. But they used to go after people at the malls. So you're too skeptical. All right, same thing. All right, I'm actually giving her advantage, so I'm going on the other leg here.
You are pushing on the wrong side.
All right, here we go. Ready? What's up? Oh, did I change where I put my hand? Where was it before? Right there? No, well, maybe.
No, it is not.
It's not the trick. I may have done it wrong. All right, ready? All right, I'm going to try it a third time. Am I pushing harder? Should I push harder? Here we go. Okay.
That looked pretty hard. Was that harder? That looked harder.
The last time I pushed a little harder. Okay. So, obviously, you should be a little bit skeptical, but it did appear as if she was doing a little bit better. All right, so let's take that off again. We'll do test number 2. We got to put this out of the natural resonant frequency range of nature. All right, so place both feet together, both heels.
Yeah, this is more a test of strength. So
Yes.
you're going to, keep your feet together, keep your hands to your side.
Arms straight down. I'm going to pull down on your wrist and just try to remain rigid and upright.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Here we go. No. Okay. So just try to stay upright there.
Yeah.
Just pulling down, just gently. All right. One more time. She's like really good at this compared to everyone else. Okay. We're actually going to hand you the magical Sharpie.
Yeah.
With skeptical powers.
We gave it special powers earlier.
Okay. So hold that in your other hand. We'll do it one more time. Okay. Ready? Here we go. And we're going to do it second time.
No movement whatsoever now.
Was I pulling the same amount? Oh, you're so good. Oh, she's all right. So she's the most skeptical person here, and she got it. All right. This is done as a demonstration of your strength and balance. What it is same pressure down. You know, obviously you're primed to look for it, but same pressure down. The only difference is when they don't have the bracelet on, I'm just pulling slightly out to the side. When they do have it on, I'm just pushing down towards their center of gravity where they can maintain their balance. That's it. It's not even a placebo effect. It's just a scam.
It's just a regular old scam. Yeah.
Who could possibly be tricked by these kinds of scams? I don't know. Maybe all of these fantastic people. Okay. This was everywhere. This was sold. You could find it every night on ESPN by it was everywhere until the Australian skeptics were able to get the Australian government to really crack down on it. Some of the makers admitted it's a scam, and a little bit of success, but you still see it.
Oh, it was more than a little bit of a success.
Yeah.
They sold millions of those.
Okay. So those are two that we've done before for skeptics, and I should mention that this is not an actual power band bracelet. It is a placebo brand bracelet put out by a skeptics group. So yes, it was not an actual power band. It was a joke. Maybe why it didn't work. Yeah,
I guess so.
But these are two illustrations of an entire practice of medicine. There are homeopathic hospitals, homeopathic practitioners all over. You can go to school for this, all based off of pseudoscientific principles, and all attempting to sound legitimate. Why? Because real scientists, real doctors go to universities. We should have some too. and that's kind of one of the themes. So those are things that we've already talked about. I'm going to go over real quick something that I've been researching. How many of you have heard that Diet Coke causes cancer?
Okay.
How many of you
Not too bad.
think that Diet Coke causes cancer? Yeah, see, you guys, once I do one, everyone's like, not me.
No,
All right.
there was two.
Okay, the brave ones. What's the word? What's the magic word for the cancer-causing carcinogen? Aspartame.
Aspartame, sure.
Everyone's heard about it. Originally approved in 1983 by the FDA. It's now in pretty much everything, over 6,000 products. And I thought, let's demonstrate how you go about researching these things. You know, obviously Google it, right? As a quick activity, if you have a smartphone and you're pretty good at it, whip it out, type in aspartame, and click on one of your top 3 results. Okay? And tell me which of those seems legit. Well, you know, they're all really not that legit, but that's the problem. If you do a Google search for any of these pseudosciences, even the power band, 50% chance you're going to wind up on the wrong side of the internet, okay? Because these things are popular.
Has anyone gotten it yet? Has anyone gotten some results up?
Would you trust that?
Well, okay, so look at
There is cancer.org. I would probably trust that. What's...
Oh, did Snopes come
Snopes
up?
is not in the top 3, ma'am. Dr. Mercola.
Yeah.
All right, so hit the next slide there.
Oh.
Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3. 1, aspartame.org. I don't know, Skeptical Sense, if I would want to ask the people who make it if that's something. Number 2 is American Cancer Society. I'd probably trust them. But for example, this guy, Dr. Joseph Mercola. For credentials, he's been on Dr. Oz. He also writes for the Huffington Post and is all over the place.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Dr. Oz and Huffington Post, 2 real hotbeds of terrible pseudoscience.
Yeah, not exactly the best places for your science information. He claims aspartame is the worst possible thing you can put in your body, causes cancer, and every other possible illness, from headaches to dizziness to child defects to seizures, anything. He traces back to this. Let me give you an example. He puts up a lot of sciencey sounding arguments, a lot of factoids, a lot of things that you would find in a science paper. He even has very sciencey parenthetical citations at the end that you all remember from your high school research papers. What struck me as odd is, even though there were parenthetical citations, no list of references at the end of the article.
Yeah, so the number 15 cited, but it doesn't go anywhere. There's no there's not a list of things at the bottom.
And I will tell you, there are other highlighted words such as, tumors and other scary things are hyperlinked. And look for some examples on your phones there while we're talking about it. There are hyperlinked phrases that sound very dubious, like scientists say or studies show. And you click the link, and where does it go? Somebody click on one of those links. Anyways. Well, there you go.
They all go to porn, people.
Actually, I'll go directly back to his site.
To his own
website. They all go
website.
to other pages on his website. This is called
referencing himself.
Circular referencing. All right, so go to the next one. I did a Google search of a couple key words and phrases, and I hit upon this all over the internet. Other alternative medicine websites are directly plagiarizing the exact same factoid, presumably from the exact same source, because they didn't even get rid of the citations. And they also did not have references.
No.
So clearly these people think this is a scientific argument. A study showed, some rats got tumors. Not the year of the study. Could have been 1900. No information to corroborate this. Step 1 is to Google it. Step 2 is to find a scholarly source. The idea of using Google is to use Google Scholar. It's a search tool that helps to cut down on this. Pseudoscience has gotten good at making fake journals. We can get into that, but
of course you can also there are certainly very good evidence-based blogs out there. Science-based medicine's fantastic. Skeptoid, Snopes usually does a very good job. But the thing about all of those is that they cite their sources that always link back to some scholarly journal, and usually they've done their due diligence with those.
So if you follow the link chain in the rabbit hole, you're probably getting into some interesting territory. If it shows a reference, the link should go directly to an academic source. If it doesn't, if it links to itself, or we were looking at the paleo diet yesterday, you go page to page on the paleo diet, then go to another paleo blog. They need to find the actual academic source for their information and not just link each other.
Right, and didn't one of those links just go back to the homepage?
Yeah, I mean, they're not even trying that hard. It's really surface level camouflage. So I wanted to find the original source document of this. I wanted to, where are they all getting their information from? This is everywhere. They're all copying it. It's got to be some paper, and maybe there is something to it. And my hunch as a skeptic was that aspartame might cause cancer in high dosages, but not in the dosages we eat. I felt like that was maybe a good skeptical guess. Okay, and so with that in mind, I did a full search of the whole thing. I hit on one original document that did have the sources on it. And this is a little bit weird, and I'm really going to have to write this out so you can get it. I'll try to do it slowly. This was an article from an internet website that no longer exists, that somebody had printed out, rescanned in, packaged with a bunch of other alternative medicine articles, and sold as an ebook for $8. Okay, it's a scam within a scam, citing bad information, but you could buy it on ebooks. Anyways, so Google has the ebooks to text function where you can go look on it. So this is the one surviving copy of the original study on the cloud. What's interesting is it was commissioned by Pathway International, a subsidiary of Life Plus in Batesville, Arkansas.
All right, we did it, Arkansas.
Life Plus specifically manufactures alternative remedies and supplements, and they're right down the road, and I really want to go check it out.
And apparently commissions terrible science writing. So if you want to know where that 15 site goes to, studies by MIT neuroscientist Richard Wertman.
When?
What are
I
those
don't know.
studies?
He just did something
I'm
sometime.
not going to tell you. Yeah.
He also cites a lot of...
I guess you got to find him in the phone book and see if you can call him.
Yeah, also a lot of articles and newspapers, and the effects of aspartame, I can presume, is his own paper again. Here's an interesting part that some of you started to notice. Who actually wrote it? The same Dr. Mercola in 2000. Where did he get his information? From information in 1985, okay? The same guy is reposting articles that he wrote in 2000 based on information he quote mined from 1985.
Yeah. Now, there's one more step to that. He's posting people plagiarizing him.
Yeah,
so there's like a step of other people plagiarizing him, and then he is plagiarizing those people.
Another guy is Dr. Roberts, who does the exact same thing. These two like to quote each other, and Roberts is not even bashful about it. He'll write a new paper, and every one of his sources in the article is himself. You can't cite yourself, people. You can't say, I know because
According
I know.
to me.
Yeah, so the whole point is that when you're researching, look for academic sources, direct references. If there's a broken chain of information, you should probably not buy it, okay? And the safe option is always to withhold judgment on something you don't know about. So someone says, hey, Diet Coke causes cancer. You don't say, oh, man, that's terrible. You just, well, maybe I'll look it up. And that's the difference, and that's kind of what we're talking about. So to conclude a little bit...
So yeah, so we've been pretty hard on Joseph Mercola, and
rightfully so.
Yeah, kind of rightfully so. He's not good. But
okay, so
the thing is, people who are people who do who sell homeopathic medicines, who give psychic readings, who think aspartame causes cancer, they are not necessarily trying to scam you. There's a very likely chance that they really believe it. Somebody actually believes they have psychic powers, or really knows that they saw the Loch Ness Monster, or was abducted by aliens, or thinks that they have found a miracle source of energy that is actually makes more energy than it takes in.
And we're really good at looking at other people who have these experiences and say, well, there's all these other explanations for it, and maybe they don't understand that they're biased and they could make mistakes, and that while they had an experience, their explanation for it may not be justified. But we're really bad at asking those same questions of ourselves when we have experiences.
Yeah, and of course the idea of the skeptics movement is to help give you critical tools, and build your own kind of critical toolbox to. It's kind of always going to happen, and it's I don't think you can 100% escape kind of falling for some bunk, but you can minimize it, right?
The idea is just to be fooled less often and to help people around you be fooled less often.
Sure.
I did have a quick question from this guy up here. Is what is Dr. Mercola a doctor in? And that is a great question, because a lot of them are not doctors in anything medical at all. He's actually a doctor of osteopathy, which in the U.S. is still recognized as a physician. A lot of them go through actual medical school, but they get an additional course in alternative treatments and remedies and things that most of them don't use, but they are also... Seems to be in science-based medicine. I think Quackwatch wrote an article about they are more often endorsing alternative medications. So if you have a preference, I would prefer an MD versus a DO. Yeah, and there's all sorts of schools popping up that intentionally promote these kinds of practices. UALR nursing program, we have a lot of friends there and skeptics here that are in that program that talk all about therapeutic touch and the benefits of other alternative medicine. It is in curriculum, and it is here in Little Rock, so it's unfortunate, but that's why we like to get together and talk about these kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I guess to wrap it up, our message to you then is to go home, look in the mirror, and ask yourself, what pseudoscience do you defend? What pseudoscience do you defend? And a couple times today, we stumbled across a couple as I was signing some books out there. Here are a few, and we'd like to leave you with a list. And if you are looking at these, like, what do they mean by that? Oh, maybe you should come talk to us and grab a pint after this, or both. Yeah, well, thanks a lot,
Yeah,
and we appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah.